tired of this line all of the time. My mama says, son, don't you pay no mind, but it's making me lose my friends. Yeah, my dying
If anybody pulls up, don't let them in. Okay, everybody, today is going to be different. It's Easter. I don't have an engineer. I don't have a telephone operator. So things might look a little hairy, but we'll get it all done. It's not the first time we had to do it this way. I'm going to be doing some commercials on here, on Facebook and on the internet, YouTube, for people who want to advertise. We'll be doing that for a good price. It'll be the best money you spend for advertisement and get the most out of it. I don't like to overcharge people for anything. I just like them to make some money and get well known. So, alright, I'm going to be doing some engineering stuff here. And it might be a little bit boring, but hopefully you can hear the music while we're doing this. This will be the last song, and then we'll be going in.
KPFFLP, Pahrump, Nevada. Statements and opinions made on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its affiliates. Statements and opinions made on the following program are not Fighting Corruption with Anthony Greco. Fighting Government Corruption, the Real Gangsters.
Greetings from corrupt Nye County. I am Anthony Greco, and this is my show, Fighting Government Corruption. I'd just like to wish everybody a happy Easter. I'm going to be doing engineering, phones, and the show myself today. It is Easter, and I didn't want to skip a show because there's a lot of things to talk about. I'd like to hope I'm just wishing that everybody had a great Easter and remember what it's all about. Now, you know, this program is called Fighting Corruption, and you realized that Jesus Christ was killed on a cross because of corrupt individuals. Okay, actually, the Romans didn't understand what Jesus did for them to want him dead, but it was the people, the corrupt people of the church, that wanted to shut him up. So they sacrificed him to shut him up. They were making fun of him, calling him the king of the Jews and everything like that. And it was corruption that actually had him killed. Corrupt people in the Jewish church. They didn't like Jesus because he didn't want them to use his father's house, the temple, as a place where they used for business and stuff like that, and he didn't want that, and they were fighting a lot of things. And I'm not a religious, you know, a religious teacher, so I'm not going to get into it too much, but I just want to let you know, and you should look these things up. We are doing radio, YouTube, and Facebook. We want to talk about on these things about corruption. We also want programs on health. We're looking for people to do programs on health. We're looking for people, of course, we play music 24 hours a day. And we also would like somebody who knows about prepping for emergency situations. I think that's an interesting topic. I talk about it once in a while, but I'd like to get somebody who's really good, an expert at prepping, and we could teach people how to save themselves in a disaster. Because the government is not always going to be there to help you. If you're standing around in a disaster waiting for the government, you might as well just start digging yourself a hole and jump in it, because before they get there, you'll probably be dead. You know, it is Easter, and, you know, maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but it seems awfully coincidental that Notre Dame Church would burn almost to the ground, gutted, during the Holy Week between Palm Sunday and Easter, Good Friday and Easter. And it just doesn't seem right to me. And, you know, it was pretty interesting on how they said it was electrical fire. Now, from my experience, I've never seen a government agency be able to give you a cause of a fire in less than a day. Okay, they usually have to go through all these testing and this and that. They actually told us what happened while the place was still warm. I don't handle that well. I don't believe it. I think they're not trying to cause a problem. But the other day, a man was arrested in New York walking into St. Patrick's Cathedral with 2 cans of gas. He was arrested a week before that walking into another church in New York with 2 cans of gas. Now, how was he walking into a building with 2 cans of gas right after the fire in France, and he was already released fast enough? I don't know if they gave him his gasoline cans back, but he was released fast enough where he could, within a couple of days, be walking into St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City with gasoline. Not only that, he was arrested again, but he also had a ticket, a plane ticket, for out of Newark Airport for after that fire to be going to Rome. Go to Rome, Italy. Why is he doing that? 2 different churches, gasoline, going to get on a plane and go to Italy. Something doesn't smell right here. Okay? Maybe I'm, you know, need a tinfoil hat. I got some tinfoil on underneath my bandana here, so it might not be working. I might still be crazy. But look at what happened today in Sri Lanka. Okay? It's the small minority in Sri Lanka are Roman Catholic. Well, they just had explosions there, numerous explosions, killing people and hurting numerous people in the Catholic community. What's going on here? You're talking about a very important week in the Catholic history, and we got fires, people looking to start fires, and the mainstream media is just pushing it off to the side. France has civil unrest. You know, I talk about civil unrest being prepared. We have civil unrest here. It just isn't talked about it that way. But there's things that go on every day that is civil unrest. And Europe is having it, and I don't understand why the people that are listening to me aren't preparing themselves. If you have family, you need to prepare. Okay, something's not right. There's an element out there. I don't know who's causing it. I don't know if it's a rogue government, deep state that wants to get control of the situation. But when you have all these problems going on, you have to be prepared for almost anything. Nobody's going to come along and save you. You have to do it for yourself. Last week I was talking about Barr, the Attorney General, and I said John Barr. And then I laughed because John Barr is not the Attorney General. William Barr is the Attorney General. John Barr is the guy from Vegas who sells cars. He's the guy who says that I'll do anything to sell you a car. And I guess I must have watched those commercials so many times that I brought his name up instead of William Barr, who is the Attorney General. So I just wanted to correct that because it was ridiculous that I said that. If anybody has, this is just for people's information, anybody has Ditech Mortgage Company? Ditech is a big mortgage company, took over a lot of the Green Tree, Green Light. Well, Ditech, the mortgage company, filed bankruptcy this month in Southern District of New York in federal court. So if anybody has a Ditech mortgage, please check out, make sure what's going on. I was told that might be Freddie Mac who's going to be taking that over. And Freddie Mac is part of Fannie Mae Freddie Mac, which supposedly Obama had given Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to the feds to run it because they almost bankrupted. Anything that the government does, you know, they're good at blowing stuff up, going over and dropping bombs on people and stuff, and that's what we need them for, but staying out of personal pockets and everything would be a nice thing. Okay, let's change gears and talk about Bernie Sanders for a minute. Bernie Sanders had to tell his followers that he's a millionaire. And socialist Bernie Sanders is a millionaire because he wrote a book on how bad millionaires are and was published in many different languages, and he turned out making a few $1 million on it. So I guess socialism didn't make Bernie Sanders his money, capitalism did. Because he wrote a book and he turned around and used the capitalist system to earn that money. I wonder how his people feel about Bernie Sanders being a capitalist when he wants us to follow programs of socialism. I thought that was pretty funny. Now, I'm going to talk about something sad that's been going on. I'm from New York. I'm a Yankee fan. And during the 7th inning stretch of a ball game, they usually play God Bless America, sung by Kate Smith. Now, this is how politically correct we have gotten. The Yankees are not playing God Bless America, sung by Kate Smith. And do you know why? They're trying to say, people are trying to say that Kate Smith was a racist. Because in a movie in the 1940s, these were not her words, it was part of the script that she was reading for the movie. And she said something about darkies. And back then in the 40s, that was slang for people of color. So they're saying that people are complaining that Kate Smith was a racist and they shouldn't allow her song to be played. This is getting totally out of control. Okay? It's a different world in 1940. There were things that people didn't understand at the time. And maybe things got better or maybe they got worse. But you can't destroy a person who can't defend themselves and talk bad about them because you're saying she's a racist. Well, they're saying that she should have went to the people who were producing the movie in the 40s that I don't want to say that line. Well, you know, actors and actresses didn't have that much to say when it came down to filmmakers. They either wanted the job or they didn't want the job. And we have changed over the years to realize that certain things we say hurt people. Or we're indoctrinated to believe that it hurts people, or people of color have been reprogrammed by the political correctness to make everything hurt them. Just think about that. It was acceptable, and they would say things, and even today, people of color say some horrible things to each other, words that a person like me wouldn't be able to say because I would be a racist, but they could do it. And we talked a little bit about this last week, not to this extent, but you know, I'm from New York, I'm Italian, I'm an American of Italian heritage, and people called me Wop, Guinea, Dago, and I didn't take it as, I didn't make it bother me, okay, because I'm stronger than that. I don't have thin skin. And if that's what somebody wants to say, let them say it. I don't, when somebody says something negative about me, I don't roll up in a ball and hide in a corner. It hits, it bounces off, I heard it, but I'm not going to sit there and cry because because I'm an American of Italian heritage, that they hurt me. That's not going to hurt me. Okay, I'm beyond that. I have a brain that functions, that understands that words cannot hurt me. Okay, if you are that weak that a word could make you go into turmoil, well, you should go live in the woods where nobody speaks, because this is getting ridiculous. We're destroying our country. Separate. Who's dividing us? That's what I want to know. It's politicians. Politically not correct. Well, political comes from politicians. And they're making us believe all these things hurt us. I mean, Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, you couldn't get two friends closer. Frank Sinatra used to call Dean Martin, his nickname for him was Dag, for Dago. They didn't argue about it. They said it in public to each other. I mean, we really got to straighten up and stop getting divided. I mean, you watch the news. It's ridiculous. I don't know how many times that a person who works as a in the school district there, as board of directors or something like that, she had to apologize for saying colored students instead of students of color. I mean, this is really out of hand. I guarantee you, if they didn't bring that up on the news, 99% of the people wouldn't even known about it. And now she's a villain. Who's doing this to us? And why are we allowing the people that are doing this to do it? Why are we allowing it? Why don't we just not pay attention to it? There's more important things out there than dividing people on how they speak. Some people aren't educated, some are more educated. You know, I'm not saying people that aren't educated are stupid, and I'm not saying people that are educated are smart. I know more smart people that can survive everyday life that never even went to school. And I know people that got doctrines and they have a problem tying their shoes. And when it hits the fan, what are they going to do? Throw books at the people that are attacking them? It's time to wake up and stop being thin-skinned and weaklings. Stop making excuses for your failures because somebody said something to you. So now you're in a tailspin about it, and every time you fail at something, it's somebody else's fault. The only time I ever got screwed in life was I wasn't paying attention, and I allowed it. Okay? Nobody's done anything that I wasn't paying attention. If they did it to me and it hurt me in a way that I couldn't earn a living on these because I wasn't paying attention. Part of it's my fault. It's not always somebody else's fault. We need to smarten up. This is very important what I'm saying. There's people out there that are trying to tear us apart and keep us fighting with each other. Because if we're fighting amongst each other, we don't know what they're doing. It's the old thing, like Glenn Beck, okay? I want you to watch this hand because they don't want you to see what they're doing with this one. So it's time that we get some thick skin and turn around and wake up to reality. Here's another thing. We were talking about the Yankee Stadium in 7th inning. Laguna Beach, California wants to ban the American flag. They are flipping out because the word police is written on the car like a flag. Okay? Red and white stripes with the stars. They want that off the cars because it may offend someone. If you're in this country and the flag offends you, you need to pack your garbage and get out of here. That's a symbol of our country, the Constitution, and what we stand for. Okay, we got a call coming in. Let's see what's going on here. Go ahead, caller. Caller? Are you there, caller?
Anthony, my friend, this is Lazy Dog.
Hey, what's cooking?
Well, I'm listening to what you're talking about, and I need to tell you that this problem was written in a book called the Quran a couple of thousand years ago. From 1800 to 1815, we fought an on-again, off-again war with Tripoli because the barbaric pirates were attacking our merchant ships and people hawked and demanding ransoms. And our third president took at that and formed the Marines and the U.S. Navy and went over there and did some serious butt kicking. And we did it so good that the French and the English merchant ships, when they would enter the Mediterranean, they would fly the American flag until they got back out of there because those countries along that coast, Tripoli and all them, they found out real quick that when you monkeyed with America, you got your butt kicked and handed to you. So they are emboldened at the moment by the success they've had in England and France and scattered around Europe and New Zealand.